not to look at myself on camera. Makes me
Oh,
so
that's
self-conscious.
us.
I thought you were
My,
joking.
my two of my kids came in. I didn't know for 30 minutes they were my kids.
Oh, wow. All right, call this meeting to order at 5:15. Please turn off all electronic devices during the meeting. We'll start with the call to order. Call, pledge of allegiance. Please rise. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amy, you want to do roll call?
Yes. Chairman Gilbert, absent. Vice Chair Hartless, absent. Member Penn,
Here?
Member Bailey,
Here.
Member Mealy,
Here.
and alternate Member Nelson.
Here. Okay, so we're moving on to the call to the public. I don't think there's anybody here, unless there's anybody online. Nope. All right, and we'll move on to the librarian's report.
Okay, so since it's been so long since we met and since summer is so busy, I tried to do bullet points on my report. Joanne and I attended the American Library Association's annual conference and came back inspired with many new ideas that have already started implementing in the library. I spoke with Parks and Rec Committee about our summer reading programs, and they graciously gave us $2,000 to use toward programming and prizes. Programming this summer was made so much easier since moving the adult computers and designating the Arizona room as the program room. We had 2,121 library books read this summer. In contrast, we had 1,555 last year during the same time period. 3,665 checkouts on the Libby app. 13,665 checkouts on the Libby app. And that was 10,057 last year. This does not include books that were read from home libraries that patrons did book reviews for. So about 4,174 more books were read this summer than last year, and we were really excited about that. Our summer reading programming, we had 9 programs for 0 to 5-year-olds, and we had 42 total in attendance. From 6 to 11-year-olds, we had 16 programs, and we had about 231 in attendance total. For 12 to 17-year-olds, we had 5 programs and had about 32 in attendance total. 18-year-old and up programs, we had 10 programs and had about 24 in attendance total. All age programming, we had 11 different programs and had about 153 in attendance total. According to the PACE Coalition, the library hosted 50% of the youth programming this summer, outserving all other local agencies. This would not have been possible without our amazing summer reading sponsors, the Town of Parker Parks and Recs, the Friends of the Parker Public Library, Jumpstarter, Environmental Waste Solutions, Circle K, and USA Gas. The library staff braved the heat and set up a booth at the Parks and Recs Back to School Bash, where we handed out school supplies, books, and library information. Overall, it was a great experience, and we will look forward to doing that again next year. The library is piloting a new program this year. It's the after-school program. I know it says 8, but we're back up to 10. First to third graders are in the library every day after school, excluding Fridays from 3 to 5 p.m. We know that childcare is a need in our community, and although the library is not a daycare, we want to help meet that need if we can. Starting September 6th, we will be returning to the junior high school to check out books to students, as the junior high does not have a library of its own. We would love to have our board and friends group come and join in our programming or do a tour of the library so that you can see the work that we are doing and the upgrades that are being made. That last page just has some statistics for June 1st through July 31st, if you want to glance over that and see how we're doing this year in comparison to last year. It was a lot.
Amazing. I feel like every time we read this, the numbers just go up every single time.
Yeah. It's been really helpful to have the programming in the program room because then the other rooms are opened up. So families aren't discouraged to go in and utilize those rooms. It encourages people to come in and hang out a little bit more.
The programming room, is that the one in the back with the computers?
Yeah, we moved the computers into what was the computer room. So it's a smaller space, but that kind of discourages people to just hang out, if that makes sense. So we're sticking with our policy of 45 minutes, of 2 45-minute sessions for each person.
Question.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you've seen an uptick in maybe people coming and using the library as a makeshift cooling station where, like, maybe their air went out and they've come to the library? I mean,
Yeah, and so before we didn't have as much seating in the adult book room, but we made sure to move some chairs into there so that that could be utilized. We added more seating into our snack room as well. And then throughout the day, if the program room isn't being used, we encourage people to go in there and utilize that space. There's desks set up in there, and then the study rooms are still available for use as well.
would you say there's like 5 people a day coming in to cool? I mean,
I
you
would
specifically know that's what they're
Yeah,
there for.
there's, I would say on average, I would say 5 to 10.
Thank you, and thank you for allowing them into the library.
Yeah.
Not everybody is
We have-
appreciative of that.
We have free waters and stuff too for them too. Yeah.
And then I was just wondering, what are you guys doing with your after-school program? Like, what's the program consist of?
It varies. We're kind of feeling it out right now. We're calling it our pilot year to see how the kids are responding to it. Right now they're doing some sort of like a focused topic every day. Today they talked about lizards. So they learned a little bit about lizards. They played with Legos. They built like a little habitat for a lizard, I guess. They do 20 minutes worth of homework time. So whatever the kids have worth of homework, they do 20 minutes of that. The kids who don't have homework are able to do puzzle time. So they have puzzles that they're doing. And then there's also books that they can read if they don't want to do puzzles. They have snacks. They go outside and they play. It's just 2 hours and we cram as much into it as we can.
Awesome.
You kind of brought it up about childcare.
Yeah.
So do you feel like it's patrons of the library that are utilizing that, or do you feel like it's outside of your patrons that are taking advantage of that opportunity?
It's invited more people into the library than were currently in there. So now they're patrons of the library and they're actually utilizing the library's resources as well. So it's kind of opened the door to some new relationships.
Do you have a cap on how many kids you're going to accept?
Yes, 10 is our max for this year.
Okay.
We're looking into working with the Arizona at Work program to possibly have them hire some high school kids, junior high kids, to come and volunteer during, or not volunteer, but work during that time and get some work experience as well. And we're always looking for volunteers if you know of any teens that want volunteer hours.
All right. Are there any other questions on the librarian's report? Okay, moving on to old business. Discussion and possible action on the following items. First item would be the Parks and Rec presentation. Do you know what that's?
This was just a holdover from the previous agenda in case we wanted to
Revisit?
yeah, we haven't had a chance to talk after they donated the money, so
Yeah.
this kind of goes with the back to school bash.
It was really helpful, especially for our last big program. We were able to rebuy a lot of the materials and stuff that we use for that. There's a lot of moving parts that go into our, winter and July program that we have. So that was really, really great.
Okay, so no action required on that. No action required on back to school bash as it's already happened. You said you were going on some staff training.
Yes.
You already did. You attended the American Library Association's.
Annual conference. I know when we had met, Joanna was supposed to attend the sex trafficking training as well, but unfortunately she was out sick that day. So she didn't get to attend that programming or that training.
Okay, any questions on any of that? All right, new business would be to discuss and action to approve, deny minutes. Want some time to read over the minutes and then I'll entertain an idea to approve.
These are the ones you emailed to us, correct?
Yeah.
I move to approve.
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Minutes approved. You want to look at the fall calendar, and that's this?
Yeah.
I figured you had.
If you would like in the future, I can get you 2 months ahead. It would be, the second month would be tentative, but I can get those for you ahead of time if you'd like.
Who's doing yoga?
It's actually a really cool thing on YouTube. It's called Cosmic Kids Yoga. They follow along with a story and they move with it into different yoga poses. So they've done like Sonic the Hedgehog, Minecraft, just things to keep the kids more into it than just moving through, the motions of yoga. It's fun.
So many neat things out there.
The Harry Potter one is really cool.
And the ones with asterisk require RSVP.
Yes. We've changed up Toddler and Me. It was previously Baby and Me, but we wanted to narrow in on the different age groups. So we've opened up lap story time on Wednesday mornings for 0 to 2-year-olds, and then toddlers on Monday evenings.
Okay. No action required on this, right? We're just sharing that and moving on. Any other questions on the calendar? Okay. What's the logo update, Phoenix?
So I'm presenting an idea, and I'm open to constructive criticism. We were going through sorry, I'm not in front of a mic.
It's okay.
We were going through our histories, and we found the old sign that was in front of the library, and we've been wanting to redo our logo. So if you want to pass it around, we were thinking something like this would be cute, especially for pins or just to put on like a shirt pocket. It's easy, it's simple. We can slap it onto a flyer, and it won't be too busy. But we wanted your opinions on it, and I loved the sign that was. It's shaped like it's beautiful.
It's straightforward.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I got the hiccups.
And that's actually 50 years ago this summer, because that was put up in the summer of 1973. So that would be really cool to pay homage to 50 years ago, whenever the library was really going.
So many people from here will remember that sign.
Yeah?
I mean,
Yeah.
you're young.
It might be nice too, that's so simple that you could probably add a little tagline to the bottom, celebrating 50 years in service or
Yeah.
something, something like that.
I like it.
I like it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we know that libraries are more than books, but when you think of a library, you think of books. So, and it says library. Very cool. Thanks.
Okay. Moving on to future topics. Yes, ma'am.
There, I would just like to note that Chairman Gilbert has entered the meeting as well.
Okay. Anybody have any future topics?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, they let the grass die and they tore out all the oleanders. Is there any type of landscape or additions coming up that,
Yes. Public Works is working on that. They're working on a grant,
Yeah,
right?
so they're currently working on a grant through, I forget who they're working through, but it's for Xeriscape, so it's gonna be similar to what's out here with the crushed granite and the native plants. And hopefully we'll have, I wanna say October, we should have word on that. He brought that a couple of meetings ago for council's approval for the submission of the application.
Thank you for sharing.
Trying to save water.
Well, and tagging on to that and knowing that Janet Carlson is no longer on the board, but one of the ideas that she pushed forward was to have a book walk. Are we
Yes.
still moving forward with that?
We would like to, once we get word from not Parks and Rec, from Public Works, I'd like to meet with them and then see about the possibility of adding in a story walk into that space.
'Cause I know you were saying before that it had to be certain types of books that were licensed for
Yes.
that.
Yep.
So
So
just want to make sure we're
Yeah.
moving forward there.
that's definitely in there.
Is that something like for the fall or around the holidays?
Story
Depending on
walk?
the book that
Yeah.
is licensed, that's probably when it'll happen.
Probably.
I mean, if there's no books for, the fall and all of them licensed or Christmas, then is that kind of how you're planning to decide when to do a book walk? The
Well,
book
it's
walk?
no, it's like it's like stations set up.
Oh,
So,
okay, okay.
and I
Yeah.
almost wonder if it could be replaceable. Like you just have, a thing here and thing here, and then you trade the books
Like-
out every so often.
Yep, that's
Oh, I see.
exactly how it would work. So it should have a little slot or enclosure that way you can put the book pages into it. So each stop along the walk would be the next page or two.
Okay.
But I mean, is that something that needs to be discussed with Public Works as they're planning what they do, so that there is a path provision there?
When they start the architecture and planning phase of that, yes.
Yeah.
So just to make sure that they are aware that that's something that's
And it's been brought up with them, so
Okay.
it's in the air. But yeah.
okay. Anything else?
Do you want to talk more about that at the next? Because I've never seen one, and it sounds like you've never seen one.
Oh yeah,
Maybe bring a presentation. You want to put together a slideshow for?
I can do that.
Just
I almost did that
your
with
spare time.
just pictures from summer reading, but there were a lot.
There's so many,
Yeah,
so many.
it was a lot.
Okay. Do we need a motion to adjourn? Or do I just?
So
Sorry,
moved.
I'm a newbie. Okay, meeting adjourned, 5:31. Ta-da.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Sorry I was late today. I tried to email in to get the Zoom information, but I had to call over to the town to be able to get logged in. So
Be cool.
have a good day, guys.
We just wanted it to be really legible, but yeah, yeah.
Chicken